He wanted to help 10 kids and ended up changing 10,000 lives. He never thought he could make a difference. Alex, a 17-year-old gamer from a quiet suburb, spent most of his days in his small bedroom, surrounded by posters of video game heroes and stacks of comic books. Life felt ordinary, predictable, and sometimes painfully slow. He loved gaming, not for the fame, not for the money, but for the escape, the thrill, the chance to step into worlds where challenges were clear and victories tangible. But one chilly December afternoon, as he sipped his soda and scrolled through social media, he stumbled across a story about a local shelter, struggling to provide toys and books to children during the holiday season. The images of small faces, hopeful and anxious, stirred something deep inside him. "I can't change the world," he murmured, "but maybe I can change a few lives." That night, with nothing more than his old laptop and a webcam, he decided to do something simple: stream for charity. His goal was modest, 100, to buy essentials for 10 kids at the shelter. He thought it was a small gesture, almost symbolic, but in his heart, it mattered. Alex set up his stream, adjusting the webcam, testing his microphone, and nervously arranging the messy cables that trailed across his desk. He took a deep breath before going live. "Hey everyone," he said, trying to sound calm. "Today I'm doing something a little different. I want to raise $100 for some kids who really need it this holiday season. Even $1 helps." His usual audience, a few dozen loyal viewers, started trickling in. They were his friends, fans, and fellow gamers, used to his funny commentary and awkward charm. The chat buzzed with supportive messages. "You got this, Alex. Even $10 counts. Let's help these kids." The encouragement made him smile, and soon he was immersed in his game, laughing at the glitches and celebrating small in-game victories. But the world outside his room was about to intervene in a way he could never have imagined. About an hour into the stream, a donation popped up on the screen: $500. Alex froze, staring at the alert. "Wait, what?" he whispered. He assumed it was a typo, a mistake, or someone trolling. But then another donation appeared. "Dart, 2,000. His pulse quickened, hands trembling slightly over the keyboard. "This has to be some kind of error," he muttered. But the donations kept coming. $5,000, 10,000, 25,000. The numbers blurred across his screen in an unstoppable tide. His chat exploded into chaos. Viewers screamed in excitement, emojis flooding the scrolling messages. Disbelief and joy tangled together. Some thought it was a glitch, others a miracle, but Alex barely noticed. He was overwhelmed, exhilarated, and utterly terrified all at once. He had started with a dream of helping 10 kids, and suddenly, he was staring at a total that surpassed anything he could have imagined: $1 million. Panic and wonder warred inside him. He tried to pause the donations, check the system, and call support. But everything was moving too fast. He could barely process what was happening. His heart pounded, adrenaline surging as he realized the gravity of the situation. He hadn't planned for this. He wasn't ready to handle this kind of responsibility. And yet, amidst the chaos, clarity emerged. This wasn't about him. This wasn't about the money. It was about the children, the ones whose lives could be touched, the ones who deserved hope, warmth, and joy. His original goal, 10 kids, hundreds, suddenly seemed almost quaint, almost laughable, but in that moment, he realized he had the power to help tens of thousands, and he chose to act. Alex contacted a reputable charity that focused on children's education and welfare, explaining everything. The organization, initially skeptical, quickly realized the legitimacy of the funds and the sheer opportunity this presented. Together, they developed a plan to ensure every dollar would be used responsibly. Schools would receive new computers, libraries would get updated books, playgrounds would be refurbished, and scholarships would be set up for underprivileged children. Care packages filled with essentials, clothes, school supplies, and toys were distributed to families who had long struggled to provide for their kids. For Alex, Seeing the first deliveries go out was surreal. The living rooms, schoolyards, and community centers filled with laughter, tears, and gratitude were tangible proof that his little idea had turned into something life-changing. News of the viral stream spread like wildfire. Headlines appeared across social media, news websites and TV stations. Teen gamer accidentally raises $1 million for charity. From $100 goal to $1 million miracle, gamer who wanted to help 10 kids ends up transforming thousands of lives. Alex found himself thrust into a whirlwind of attention he could never have prepared for. Interviews, emails, and messages poured in from people offering advice, assistance, and praise. He was recognized on the streets by fans who had followed his story online. Yet, through it all, he remained humble, always steering the conversation back to the kids, always insisting that the attention should go to them, to the change that had been made possible by the generosity of strangers. One of the most unforgettable moments came when a group of children visited the community center, where the donations were being coordinated. They held small, handwritten notes of gratitude, their eyes bright with excitement and shy wonder. One little girl, no more than 7, approached Alex and looked him squarely in the eyes. "You didn't just help us," she said softly. "You gave us hope." Her words pierced Alex's heart, and for a long moment, he couldn't speak. He had imagined reactions, applause, even media coverage, but nothing could have prepared him for this. The raw, unfiltered impact of his actions on a young life. That day, he realized that every moment of panic, every sleepless night, and every frantic decision had been worth it. $1 million wasn't just a number. It was a bridge to opportunity, a lifeline to those who needed it most. In the weeks and months that followed, Alex's life changed dramatically, but not in ways that made him feel like a celebrity. He continued to game, continued to stream, but now with a purpose far greater than entertainment. His channel became a hub for charitable events, inspiring countless others to follow his lead. Donations poured in not just for holiday campaigns, but for ongoing support of children's education, healthcare, and basic needs. Alex discovered that what started as a glitch, as a chaotic accident, could be transformed into sustained intentional change. The story was no longer about luck. It was about responsibility, courage, and the choice to act when presented with an extraordinary opportunity. Through it all, Alex learned lessons that would stay with him forever. He learned the importance of humility, of managing expectations, and of using influence wisely. He learned that even small acts of kindness, when amplified by the generosity and trust of others, could create a ripple effect far beyond imagination. He learned that fear and uncertainty were natural companions to responsibility, but they could be navigated with courage and intention. And perhaps most importantly, he learned that true impact wasn't measured by numbers on a screen, but by the faces of those who were touched, the lives that were altered, and the hope that was restored. Alex often reflected on that fateful day. It had started with a simple goal: $100 for 10 kids. He remembered sitting in his messy bedroom, headset on, fingers hovering over the keyboard, unsure if anyone would even donate a single dollar. And now, years later, he saw the countless lives that had been changed because of that small decision, from children receiving new school supplies to families benefiting from scholarships and essential aid. The effects of that day reverberated far beyond what he could have imagined. It wasn't the $1 million alone that mattered. It was what they represented: possibility, compassion, and the extraordinary power of ordinary people to make a difference. In quiet moments, Alex would think about the little girl at the community center, her words echoing in his mind. "You gave us hope." And he would smile, not out of pride, but out of gratitude for the chance to help, for the strangers who had donated without knowing him, and for the serendipitous glitch that had changed everything. He had set out to help 10 kids, and in the most unexpected, almost magical way, he had ended up changing 10,000 lives. The numbers were staggering, yes, but the real story lay in the laughter of children, the smiles of families, and the sense of possibility that spread through communities like wildfire. Alex knew his life had been altered forever. He would never look at gaming, streaming, or even a single idea the same way again. He understood, in a deep, visceral way, that one person's action, small, humble, and sincere, could ripple through the world in ways beyond comprehension. He had been just a kid with a laptop and a dream, but through courage, compassion, and a touch of unexpected magic, he had created a legacy that would last long after the cameras were turned off, long after the streams ended, and long after the glitch had been fixed. He had wanted to help 10 kids. Instead, he had changed 10,000 lives, and in that, Alex found something far more valuable than fame, more meaningful than money, and more powerful than any virtual achievement he had ever unlocked in a game. The knowledge that he had made the world a better place, even if only a little, and that sometimes miracles come from the most unexpected places. What started as a small idea, to raise $100 for 10 kids, became a life-changing event for thousands. Alex's accidental $1 million stream proved that even the simplest acts of kindness can ripple far beyond imagination. Through determination, humility, and the willingness to act, he transformed chaos into hope, touching lives he never expected. The glitch was fleeting, but the impact was lasting. Schools rebuilt, scholarships granted, families supported, and children smiling with joy. Alex learned that true change doesn't require fame or fortune, just courage, compassion, and the choice to turn opportunity into meaningful action.